quick introduction about me and a little troubleshooting. First, I get distracted by the chat, right? So I try not to look at the chat until I'll take breaks and look at it, but I do get distracted by that and lose my train of thought. Mute yourselves. If I ask you a question, I'll try to click on you and answer or call out your name so you can ask the question. Let me do an introduction. I have slides, but if you know me, you know that I can talk, and I honestly don't need slides. They're just for your visual enjoyment. But I can just talk to you straight like this for an hour. But I have slides and we'll go through those as well. Okay, so real quick, let's do this introduction and then we're going to get started, you guys. Did y'all see the poll? Is the poll still up or did I take down the poll? Can y'all still see the poll in quizzes that I just put up? Poll. Okay, let me share it with you. If you did not answer the questions on the poll, you have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, end poll. And let's share the results. The questions were where are you in your real estate journey? And I'm going to share the results so you can see that everybody is, we're all in this together, you guys. Some are new, some are seasoned. So can y'all see the results to that? Yeah. Key, I'm looking at you. Yeah. Okay. Because I can't see what y'all see. Okay. So you can see where everybody is in the class, what your challenges are, if you're experienced, if you're a lender. So understand that, you know what I mean? We're all at different places on this path to success. So don't feel embarrassed to ask me a question. Everybody who knows me knows I'll answer your question. Don't worry. So let's get started. You guys, if you didn't know, I'm Ashley Pickens. Let's do my YouTube intro. Here in Memphis, Tennessee, I've been in real estate. It will be 20 years next year. I got licensed in 2006. So next year will make 20 years for me in real estate. I've been a real estate agent. I have been a real estate broker over an entire firm of agents. But I think y'all know me as your auction mama because I auction off foreclosures at the courthouse. I'm the one that says going once, going twice, sold here in Memphis, Shelby County, all the way to Nashville and parts of Mississippi. So when I first started doing auctions, I realized nobody knew anything about auctions, including myself. So I started recording videos and sharing how to buy houses at the auction. And I think that is still my number one video on YouTube right now, how to buy a house at the auction. And then once I realized that I was not the only one who didn't know, I started teaching courses. I made a course on how to buy auctions, how to buy properties at the courthouse. And then with that, that turned into homeowners reaching out to me who were in foreclosure, right? Because they knew I was the person auctioning. So then they started reaching out to me to be like, well, how can I save my house? So I said, you know what? Let me answer this call too. So then I started helping homeowners who were in foreclosure, and it has just blossomed into this. And then now we have a mentorship where I teach people wherever you live how to help homeowners who are in foreclosure, and I host master classes and all that. So tonight we are talking all about foreclosures, right? I always say, and I know Kia and Gail and all y'all are so tired of me saying it, but in our industry, again, I've been in real estate, it'll be 20 years. We focus so much on teaching people how to buy a house. Call me if you want to buy a house. Pick me. Here's how you get your credit together. But we never talk about what happens when you can't afford that house anymore or when you get behind on a payment. We never talk about that, right? And it's so many people, and we're going to see in the next 5 years, starting in 2026 for the next 5 years, how many people really don't know what to do when their house goes into foreclosure. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The 3 phases of foreclosure. If you're an investor, if you're a real estate agent, newbie, seasoned, you're gonna get in where you fit in, right? Depending on which phase is the best one for you, where you want to invest in, and hopefully you learn something a little tonight. If you didn't know, I primarily work on the distressed market. I always say I love my first time home buyers. I love the residential market. I work with investors now. I work with investors. I work on the distressed market. That is what I like. Y'all got too much going on the residential market when it come to commission and buyer's agents and all that, and y'all can have that. So, no shade, but this is where I am. So, let's jump in really quickly. Are there any questions before we get started? Any questions? Because y'all know, if you know, I can talk. If you didn't know. Okay, so let me look real quick. I see. Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am recording this, so I will send out the replay if y'all missed the replay, or if it's just so good you just want to watch it again tomorrow. You can watch it tomorrow. So let's get started because you came for a good time and not a long time, right? So, all right, everybody in here, everybody can see me, hear me. We're good. Look, it's not too many people in here yet. I had like 150 people sign up. So they'll probably come on in here shortly, you guys. So, like I already said, been in real estate. See, I told you I don't need slides. I really don't need slides. I can just talk and y'all can just learn from me talking. So, yep, real estate, that's me. The cheapest property I've ever auctioned off was $500 at the courthouse. And that girl took that house and flipped it to an investor for $19,000 and never looked at it at all. So she made a quick $18,500. So I always like to, this says October, I always like to share what's going on in our market right now. And I'm going to share my screen, but let's look at actual numbers. This is what I wanted to look at. Can everybody see my screen? Yes. Kia, thank you. Thank you, Cameron. I'm looking at y'all because y'all have y'all's cameras on. No shade to anybody else. No shade. Just, but thank you. Thank you. I know Tawanda was like, Ashley, I know. You're right. Leave your camera off. You good. Let's talk about what's going on right now in the distressed market. Because when you watch the news, you know, they lowered interest rates this much and they expect everybody to come out of the woodworks and buy a house now. But let's talk about what's going on in the foreclosure market right now. And I'm just going to go through this really quickly so you can understand why you're here and what's coming in 2026, because that's what we're going to talk about. So right now we have 35,651 properties with a foreclosure filing. These are November numbers, right? These are last month's numbers. This is up 21% from a year ago, and I anticipate the numbers just to steadily increase for the next at least 3 to 5 years, okay? So, and like I say, we've never stopped foreclosures like we have with COVID, right? Since COVID, banks and trustees and asset managers have not foreclosed on people like we typically do since COVID. When COVID hit, we went under a moratorium that was 2 years, and we have not started back up since then. So it's going on, can y'all believe, 6 years since COVID? We have not foreclose like we typically do. In a normal average market, we foreclose on 1 million people a year. In a normal market, right? We're not seeing any of those numbers, and I'm going to show you in the slide. But we got the pipe is about, the floodgates are about to open up. I will tell you that. So let's talk about nationwide. 1 in every 4,000 houses are in foreclosures. The states, we have Delaware, South Carolina, Nevada, New Jersey, and Florida have the highest foreclosure rates right now across the country, right? They also have Philadelphia as cities. Following Philadelphia were Las Vegas, Cleveland, Orlando, Florida, and Tampa, Florida. Are any of y'all in those cities or states? Let me know. Let me know. I don't see Denver, Colorado on the list, Cameron, but that's okay. You just take over that area, okay? Let's talk about foreclosure starts. That's the first process, and we're going to talk about that tonight. Lenders started the foreclosure process on 23,000 properties in November. This is up 17% from a year ago. States that had the greatest number of foreclosure starts in November: Florida with 2,800, Texas with 2,612, California had 2,090, New York had 1,146, and Illinois had 1,075. They didn't give, they usually put the cities with the highest foreclosure starts, but they did the largest year over year declines in this article, probably because the numbers were so high they didn't even want to put the top cities just because they didn't want to scare everybody. But they had the cities that had the biggest decline. So Boston decreased from 186 to 130. So boom, let's keep going. Completions. These are also known as REOs. Don't worry. We're going to learn all about that tonight. Lenders repossessed 3,884 properties through completed foreclosure. This is an increase of 26%. I don't know why my little glow thing is glowing everything. 26% from last year. States that had the greatest number of REOs in November: Texas with 546, California had 314, Florida 311, Pennsylvania 291, and Illinois had 223. If you see your state on here, raise your hand, blink your hand, clap your hands, whatever you want to do. The cities with the greatest number of REOs: Philadelphia, Chicago, Houston, Texas, Dallas, Texas, and New York City. So I just wanted to share that with you guys as we continue on and get started in the class. Any questions up until this point? Kia, you see how good I'm doing with asking questions and pausing? Because maybe I can talk and just keep talking. And I'll say, y'all got a question? And then I just keep talking and don't even give you a chance to answer the question, ask your question. So I'm working on this. So let's keep going. Like I said, the numbers, we have not foreclosed on people. Like I said, a million people are our average numbers. We usually foreclose on a million people every single year. We have not touched anywhere near those numbers. So you can think about how many properties and people are in the pipeline that are in foreclosure, that are basically just sitting and waiting to see what the bank is going to do with their property. So here's some other numbers. In August, we had 4.9 million homeowners behind on their mortgage and 5.3 million renters. September, we have 4.7 million homeowners, 5.3 million renters. You guys, I will tell you, those numbers have been there since COVID. We've been looking at almost 10 million people behind on their mortgage since COVID. So most of these people, if they were behind at the beginning of the year, they are behind at the end of the year. Hey, Ray. I know you.
Hey,
Um, so we have people who are, and I think that number is low, actually. I'm gonna be completely honest with you and tell you that I think 10 million is lower than actually how many people are actually in foreclosure. If the banks were to actually publish their defaulted loans, I think everybody would be nervous, honestly, right now. So why this masterclass, you guys? So there are so many areas when it comes to the distressed market. Like again, I work the distressed market. I work auctions. If y'all know, I'm starting to work REO properties. REOs, pre-foreclosure, of course, that's my jam. Airship properties, I do reach out to airship properties, but there's other types that people aren't familiar with. Short sale, tax lien, absentee owners. All those are other types of distressed properties, okay? Like vacant and abandoned homes. If some of you all drive for dollars, right? Those are distressed properties as well. So I focus on this side of the market. Oh, there it is. Pretend like you didn't see that. Here we go. Thank you. I know. I know. Fancy. Fancy. Okay, here we go. You guys, meet Steve. I'm going to make this so y'all understand it and it makes sense because we can all really start talking real estate and go over your head, but I want to make sure you understand this as we go along. So, Steve, look at him and his two kids and dog and wife. Lost his job during tech layoffs and is struggling to pay his mortgage each month. Okay. That's a smile, but he really crying on the inside and his blood pressure is super high. You can't tell though. Steve is 3 to 6 months behind on his mortgage. Usually, homeowners get behind 3 months, and that's what starts the foreclosure process. But like I said, we have people who have not paid since COVID, okay, and are not in foreclosure. So Steve is 3 to 6 months behind on his mortgage. He's in pre Foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure is that first stage in the foreclosure process when a homeowner falls behind on their mortgage payments, right? The homeowner still owns that property. The homeowner is still the decision maker. The homeowner still lives in it. Okay? Homeowner still owns the property. But the lender is, you know what I mean? The lender is calling, sending letters, texting. Hey, Steve, you ain't paid in 3 to 6 months. Okay, Steve lost his, like I said, Steve lost his job during layoffs, is struggling to pay. Steve just received a certified letter in the mail. Boom. That kicks Steve. Steve is now officially in foreclosure. When he gets that certified letter from the trustee or the attorney, and it says, Steve, you done waited long enough, Steve. You're going to have to send us some money or you're going to have to give us that house back. Certified letter in the mail. And I wanted to show you, I always share examples of people that I talk to. These are real examples of mortgages that I'm seeing. When I ask a homeowner, when they call me and I'm like, how far behind are you? And they send me their mortgage statement. This is an actual mortgage statement. Y'all see how far behind this person is on their mortgage? Yes. I'm looking at everybody's glamour shot picture since then. Nobody want to get on camera tonight. That's okay. Thank you, Cameron and Ray and Kia. $25,000. Now, when you get that statement from your trustee or the lender, that notice says you have to pay your complete past due balance in full or your house is going up for auction. Those are your two options from that lender. So a lot of people will call me and say, Ashley, I tried to send them a payment and they sent me my payment back to me. Once you get so far into foreclosure, they will not accept your partial payment anymore. So if you talk to homeowners, understand that. They're not going to take your $750 payment anymore. They're not taking your $1,200 mortgage payment. They want $25,074.83 in order to stop your foreclosure. Okay? Here's another one. You are 370 days delinquent on your mortgage loan. 370 days. The total amount due was $21,028.36. That is what I'm seeing. When I send letters to people and when I reach out and call and email people, nobody is ever 3 months behind on their mortgage. I have yet to talk to anybody who's like, Ashley, I just got behind. Everybody's like, I haven't paid in 2 years. I haven't paid in a year. I talked to one guy and I said, how far behind are you? What is your past due balance? He said $130,000. I was like, sir, you ain't paid in like 6, 7 years, sir. $129,000 was his past due amount that he had to pay in order to stop his auction. And I know a lot of people are like, well, how do you stay in a house for a year and 2 years and not foreclose? The banks just have not been pushing these properties through, and people are just sitting and accumulating monthly payments until they don't, right? Until banks are finally like, okay, we done. Your auction date is set. And here's one more, and then we'll keep going. Here's one, $19,000. You are 230 days delinquent on your mortgage loan. So just understand, if you decide to come over here on this side of the market, this is what we are dealing with over here. Now, how do you find pre-foreclosure properties? There's a couple of different ways. I'm going to show you the old school, I feel like grassroots way. You can find the public notices, right? These are the notices that when a homeowner gets behind, that foreclosure attorney or the trustee files with the county records and deeds. It is the notice that says this property is going up for auction on this date, right? So you can Google your county. Like I live in Shelby County. I can Google Shelby County public notices. A lot of times they're in smaller publications, right? Like the smaller little thin newspapers. I think I got one right here. I always got one. The smaller, if you live somewhere and they do like a little small publication, a lot of times you can find them in the library. The library, that's a place where they have books that you can check out and you can return them and it's absolutely free. But a lot of times they have these papers in the library. So this is where they usually post the auctions and public notices or online. I always tell people I live in the South. So Mississippi is I auction in Mississippi, and I still have to manually go down there, file the notice. They still have a bulletin board with the auctions that are coming up. But if you live somewhere that's in 2025, that's up to date, you might can look online and find their information. So it just depends on where you live. Mississippi still stuck back in 1960. No shade if anybody lives in Mississippi. So, but you can Google county name, public notices. Cameron, I see your hand.
Um, so it would behoove us to go to the county website and research public auctions or public notices, just
Hmm.
flat out, and that should get us to the page where the directory
It'll
of
show
the
like,
actual.
yeah, it'll show like auctions that are coming up, or it'll show the note because the notice, the public notice, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. It tells who's foreclosing, like Bank of America is foreclosing on Mr. and Mrs. Johnson on,
And that
go ahead.
and that has to be printed though, right?
I mean, you can,
I mean, like I know it's on the county website, but they have to print it in the local newspaper as well,
yeah.
right? As part of the law.
So most of them do. So sometimes they're in newspaper if you can find that smaller publication for sure, or their public notice in your county records and deeds office. Yeah, if you can get that paper, I used to get a subscription to this paper so I could get that.
Thank
Yeah, they put it in the paper. A lot of times when people used to ask about auctions, they'd be like, "Look in the paper," and that's where people would always say, and you'd be like, "What paper I'm supposed to look in?" But it's the smaller publications, and they will print the notice. The whole notice is in here with the homeowner's name, when their auction is, and the address of the property. And it's to let people who are interested in that property know that the house is going up for auction. So you'll see interested parties could be Chase Financial, like their credit card companies. If anybody has a lien on that property, so it's published so you know that this property is going up for auction if you have any interest in it. Great question. Any other questions, you guys? Leah, Gail, Sabrina, Bill, Nia? Okay, let's keep going. Now, this is what a public notice looks like. This is here for Shelby County and Memphis. And it'll have, if your name is on here, you guys just ignore it and act like your name is not on here. Okay, I'm sorry. It'll have the borrower name, property address, the advertised auction date, and the date of first notice. Here in Shelby County, I live in a non-judicial state, right? So if you get behind on your mortgage 3 months, your lender will file this notice of default and they will take your house in 30 days. Again, I also live in Shelby County and I auction off I do trustee sales. There is no redemption on trustee sales in Shelby County. So if I auction off your house, you cannot redeem it or get it back. So I always say, Shelby County, if y'all live somewhere where they care about you, they give you a little bit more time. Here in Shelby County, they're going to put all your business out. They're going to auction off your house in 30 days and you cannot get it back. So it just depends on where you live, if it's judicial or non judicial. But this is what it looks like. Now, what do I do, right? When you talk about opportunities when it comes to pre foreclosures, the homeowner is still the decision maker. So when someone gets a notice, I'm going to ask the whole class a question and y'all can answer it. Follow me. The homeowner is still the decision maker. They just got a notice that says you're in foreclosure. Your auction is scheduled in 30 days. Can that homeowner sell that property before those 30 days? Cameron saying yes. What is everybody saying? Can y'all put it in the chat since y'all really don't want to talk to me? Carla said yes. Tawanda said yes. Sabrina said yes. Okay, y'all talking to me. Okay, okay. Yes, the homeowner can still sell. Bill said yes. The homeowner can still sell that property up until the day of their auction, depending on their lender. There's been plenty of times I have auctions scheduled and they'll call me and they'll say it's canceled. That homeowner can still sell that property. So a lot of people's investors, real estate agents will reach out to homeowners in foreclosure, including myself. And that is what the whole mentorship is about. I know y'all asked me about that. I reach out to people who are in foreclosure with a scheduled auction and offer my assistance. Hey, how can I help you? Do you want to keep your property? Okay, well, here's some Tennessee assistance that might can help you keep your house, or do you want to sell it? Because these are your only two options, or they can file bankruptcy. A lot of homeowners are filing bankruptcy. If you did not know, bankruptcy will stop an auction immediately. You can file bankruptcy the morning of your auction and it will stop it. You will cancel that auction. Now it's just basically postponing your auction now because I think the lenders and trustees and lawyers are getting smart to that people are just filing to stall. They're not actually going through the entire bankruptcy process. They know that they can file, cancel that auction, and it'll buy them some more time. So I anticipate those laws changing about people being able to file multiple times to stop an auction. So, what can you do? You can reach out to these homeowners. I send letters. I have door hangers. I will email you. I will call you. Again, I live in Shelby County, so I got 4 weeks. As soon as that notice goes out, I am going to reach out to them every single week until their auction. Is what I'm going to do. Look at you, Kia. I know Kia be like, stop talking to me. And I encourage you all, whatever you do, you have to be consistent with what you do. Okay. I may, excuse me, got choked up. Oh, Carla, come on. You still at the beach. Oh, goodness. You lived a life.
My question is, I noticed you when you showed your envelope, so you only buy the neon colored
Yeah.
envelopes.
Come on, Carla. Y'all, Carla's in the mentorship, but so she just got in. So, yes, let me tell you guys, since y'all, it's a small class, right? How many people I got in here? I can talk to y'all like I talk to everybody else. So, with me, because clearly, okay, it's 20 of y'all. Y'all be all right. So with me, when it comes to letters, you guys, I have some methods. I only send bright colored envelopes. Okay. There's for a couple of reasons. I need mine to stand out. If you are in real estate, investor, wholesaler, you know how many people you going against that are reaching out to these homeowners. I need to stand out from everybody else, right? You don't have to do, hold on. I'm running low, but I'll show y'all. I get mine off of Amazon and they come in a whole pack of different hot pink, yellow, boom. I think they're like $16 for 250 of them. Listen to me. Everybody look into your camera and look into my eyes. Do not get hung up on the color of an envelope because I know y'all will. Some of y'all got analysis paralysis and y'all gonna be like, I need to get a pink. Ashley said it had to be pink. It could be any color but white. Do not send these people white envelopes because they look like bills and they already not opening their bills. So it could be all green. You don't have to get them from Amazon. You can get them from Dollar Tree. I don't care anything about where you get them from, what color they are. Just make sure it's an envelope that stands out, right? A colorful envelope. Somebody said they went to Dollar Tree and all they could find was green. So they only send green envelopes. That's fine with me. Okay, don't take a whole bunch of brain power on the envelopes. And since we're gonna talk about it, we'll talk about it. My envelopes, all of my letters are the same. Hold on, Jermon got a question. Talk to me, Jermon.
What's, what's, oh shit. What's going on?
Hey, Jermon.
What's going on, y'all? How y'all doing this evening? Real quick, those color envelopes, like far as the black, the dark green, and all the darn dark color envelopes. What kind of pencil or pen can I use on those?
Let me be
Because
completely
I got
honest.
a ton of those. And
Jermon, let me be completely honest with everybody in this room. I got 5,000 purple of these because I do not send out my purple ones because the ink does not show up good on my purple envelopes. Now, I know somebody got what is it like that? It's a Sharpie, but it's like a sparkly silver, like an iridescent kind of Sharpie. But look, I ain't gonna be doing all that. So I have 150 million purple envelopes. So I've just started kind of sending them to my airship people, my airship properties. That's what I'll do. But I don't ever use my purple ones. I use my yellow, green, hot pink. My hot pink ones always get people to call back. Hot pink, it just stands out against everybody else. Good question, Dramon. That is so true because it doesn't show up on anything else. But I had like a gray Sharpie, but I ain't gonna be looking for no gray Sharpie
Yeah.
all day.
Now, when you order those, can you tell them specifically what colors you want, or they just send them to you? It is what it is. You take them and leave them.
So on Amazon, it comes in this bundle of 250, and it's like yellow,
Okay.
purple, pink, green, boom, 250. And I just buy the same bundle all the time. And then I just always have the purple ones left over. But if you get on Amazon, I think you can buy like specifically yellow ones or specifically, but this was the best deal for me. Like $16 for like 250 was like the best deal for me. So, when it comes to me mailing letters, you guys, all of my letters say the same thing. Okay. Do I have? I do. This is perfect. Perfect example of this. Y'all, me trying to be fancy, my background is blurred and I don't know how to make it unblurred. This is what I get for trying to be fancy and I should just be normal. So,
I can see you. It's clear.
okay, but my background is blurred. So y'all can see my
Oh,
letter.
oh,
Put it
okay.
in front of me. All of my letters are the same. So some of your letters are going to come back because the homeowners have moved, they've left the house, it's vacant. Let me open this up because I'm going to show y'all in real time how this works. All of my letters are the same. They say the exact same thing. When you open them up, it says, y'all can't see it, but it says hello. It does not say Mr. Jenkins, Miss Smith, Sharon. It says hello. And they all say the same thing, right? I introduce myself, I give them options, and I tell them to reach out to me. Okay. And I can print off 50 of these, right? I'm not printing off individual one, Miss Jenkins, Mr. Williams, Robert, Bert, Ernie. I'm not doing that, right? I'm going to print off all of these. Now, what I will do is I hand address every single envelope because hand addressed envelopes have a better open rate because they looking like, okay, it might be from somebody that I know. So I do hand address every single envelope, but all of my letters are the same. So when they come back, like y'all just saw me, this one came back, I'm going to take it out and I'm going to reuse it and put it in a new envelope, right? Because ink costs too much money, right? So that's what I would tell you. I have one main letter that I send out, and then I hand address the envelopes. That makes sense to everybody. Boom. So, and it just offers, it says time is of the essence. Bankruptcy is not your only option. I let them know of other options that they have. Yes, Carla, Burden Ernie. Um, when you're in the mentorship, I give you my letter and y'all can just copy it. But anyway, don't overthink this either. It don't take 40 days and 40 nights to come up with a letter. Okay. Come up with the letter, tweak it as you go, envelope, put it in the mail, keep it pushing. Okay. Boom. That's my letter process, if y'all were wondering. Any questions really quick before I pull the screens back up? Any questions? Everybody clear? All minds clear? Okay. Same letter, just hand addressed. And when it's the holidays, I might put at the top of it, Happy Holidays. In January, I might put Happy New Year. But it says hello. It's not addressed to anybody. So that's what I do. Realtors, when it comes to reaching out to homeowners in distress and they say they want to sell their properties, y'all, if you're an agent, talk directly to the lender if you're going to sell the property. Now, the thing is, a lot of you don't know if that homeowner is in foreclosure unless they tell you. But once you find out, you talk to that lender or you let the homeowner, like, call them on three-way and you tell the lender, hey, we're going to sell the property, and they might buy you some more time. My point of saying this is I've auctioned off properties that were on the market. I have auctioned off, a homeowner was in the process of selling their house, and I auctioned it off because the bank didn't know that they were trying to sell their house. They were trying to outrun an auction, right? Without telling anybody. That's not fair to anybody. I have auctioned off houses that showed pending on Zillow. So they might have had a buyer might have had their house under contract. They didn't tell the bank though. The bank didn't know they had a buyer that was doing an appraisal and a home inspection and planning to move in. I auctioned it off. So that buyer probably lost all their home inspection money. They lost their appraisal money. And hopefully they didn't put in their 30-day notice where they lived. That's what I'm saying. The bank has got to know what you're doing. Don't try to outrun an auction because I will still auction off your house and it's under contract with a buyer. So, but a lot of times people don't know. Here in Memphis, since I know a bunch of agents and everything, when I get a property that's going up for auction and I see that it's on the market, usually I'll reach out to that agent and I'll say, hey, your listing is scheduled for auction on Friday. And they'll be like, I knew she was in foreclosure, but she told me she had 30 days. She on my schedule for Friday and I already have her opening bid. So y'all need to get on the phone with the bank and let them know that you're trying to sell it, right? So realtor, just communicate with the lender. You don't want to end up with a headache. Any questions? Yeah, Cameron.
So you can put in an opening bid, like a sealed bid before the auction, actually the auction date, or are you putting in a bid as me, maybe an investor or whatever, putting in a bid based on the balance that the bank requires?
So when I said opening bid, I mean that as far as from the auctioneer perspective, when the trustee or the bank is like, Ashley, auction this house off on Friday, the opening bid is $150,000. Boom.
Usually the balance of the loan or what's
It
owed,
is.
right?
So the opening bid is
Okay.
the loan balance for everybody who's didn't know how that works. At the auction, usually the opening bid is the loan balance. So it's whatever that homeowner owes on that loan is what I'm auctioning off that day, right? So that's when I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse y'all. When I tell an agent, like, the reason I said that is when I get an opening bid, that's usually a surefire green light that I'm auctioning that property. They've already got an opening bid, they've already run their numbers, and it's going to go on Friday. Like I'm going to auction it on Friday. So that's when I said I already got the opening bid. That means like it's sure to go on Friday. So if you got your property or your client is under contract, somebody needs to be trying to get on the phone with the bank before I auction it on Friday. So that's what I meant. Yes. Good question. You guys, any other questions? We're gonna keep going. Any other questions? Okay.
A quick question.
Talk
So,
to me.
I'm a wholesaler.
Hmm.
So what would that mean for me? Because of course, I mean, do I call the lender or do I just get it under contract and then,
So usually for wholesale deals, and I'll say, and Ray and anybody else can jump in and speak from that. A executed contract will usually stop an auction. Okay? An executed contract will stop an auction usually. So if you got a contract on a property and you tell the homeowner, let's send it over to the bank and let them know, the homeowner, the bank will usually say, okay, when is your closing date? Okay, we'll postpone that auction until you can close until your closing date, right? That's why you just got to keep the lender in the loop that you got so a lot an executed contract will stop an auction, usually. That makes sense. So if you can put a contract on it and send it over to the lender, you can get that auction postponed a lot of times. Talk to me,
Even
Karen. Yeah.
even without financing or proof of funds, that you can actually satisfy
Well,
the
they're gonna
balance.
want to probably see proof of funds. You know what I mean? They're gonna want to see proof of
Man,
funds, or they're gonna want to see, you know,
something other than just a contract.
something.
Anybody
Yeah.
can get a contract.
Yeah. So executed contract with proof of funds will usually stop auction. I've had my closing attorney call, and my closing attorney will be like, I'm calling from Excel title. My client got the money. I just need to do a title search, or here's the contractor. Boom. I can verify that she got the money. Right. Jermon, I see your hand.
No, I was going to just tell folks if y'all going to go that route, please, please make sure y'all got a buyer first. Don't go
Yeah.
get go get none under contract, and then pray to the universe that you get this thing sold. Because I say this because I've seen many realtors, these traditional minded realtors, that sit up here, get these same properties under contract, knowing they can't move it, and then at the last minute leave the seller hanging, and now the
That's
seller
horrible.
scrambling to try to buy. And that's happened all the time because I get calls from folks, hey, can you throw me a Hail Mary in the last minute? Your home is going to auction in a couple of days. There's nothing I can really do for you at this point.
And that's so true. That's what I
You know,
tell people who work. Thank you, Jamon, for reminding people of that. When you work on this side of the industry, you are playing with people's lives. This is their home. This is not your typical buyer. Your typical seller I'm moving because I want to downsize, or I'm moving because I just want a different house. I'm selling because I'm about to lose my house and be homeless, right? So if you tell them that you can sell their home and then you can't, there goes their house up for auction, right? They done lost their house because you couldn't deliver on your contract. So be very mindful. This is a whole different ball game when you're dealing with people. And I'm seeing wholesalers in their all these disclosures that are coming out now for wholesalers to protect themselves about, if I'll do my best to get your house sold. If I can't sell it, you can't sue me. I'm seeing all these disclaimers that wholesalers are adding to their contracts now. Cameron, and then Jermon, talk to me.
Okay, scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to the person that's facing foreclosure, and we work out a deal for me to take the property. It's under contract. I have proof of funds.
Yeah.
Now, just in the going down the scenario you guys were saying, in the happenstance that, okay, I can't pay by the allotted time, does that reset the clock of foreclosure? I mean, of auction, or it didn't really completely stop? It just kind of put a pause on it, and it can be unpaused when you can't pay
When you
whatever.
can't deliver on your promise, they're gonna reschedule that auction. And it'll probably be within like a week or so. They're gonna go on and send it back to auction.
So you have maybe a week to produce funds in
Yeah.
order to stop the auction completely, and then it's just basically a sale.
Yeah, and so
Correct.
I've had where like I needed an extension on a contract, and the lender was like, "How much longer you need?" Because for the past, I will say 5 years, banks have really been trying to work with homeowners, right? If I needed an extension, they'd be like, "How much time you need?" Okay, I'll give you another week. But I feel like coming up in 2026, you better be able to deliver on your, are they going to push these houses out? They got investors to pay. They got people to pay, right? All these people are defaulted, investors not getting paid. Um, but yeah, they'll just restart. They're not gonna restart the foreclosure. No, they just gonna reskip that auction. They gonna see when's the next available date to auction it and auction it off.
So not another 30 days or nothing like
No,
that. It's like
no. Mm-mm.
whenever we're open and we available, we going to do this thing.
Yeah, because you didn't deliver, and they might, depending on how much the property is worth, if it's got equity, it might can sell at auction, depending on how low that opening bid is, right? So a lot of times, and this is, I don't want to confuse people. Look, I got to put my big face in the screen so I can feel like y'all can understand me. When you are buying, I know y'all, I just have to. Think about this. When you are buying and the homeowner is in pre-foreclosure, right? In order, it's like a for sale by owner. So if there's any liens, anything on that title, that's going to come out of that homeowner, that seller's proceeds, right? If they haven't paid their taxes, that's coming out of their money, their equity. If they have liens, that's coming out of their equity. If they've done 5 modifications in the last 20 years and they owe them, that's coming. I have seen a homeowner. He called me the other day. His house went up for auction because he started talking to another investor instead of me.
Mhm.
His mortgage statement, this is something for everybody to remember. When you talk to a homeowner and they'll tell you, this man told me, he said, I'll take 200 for my house. I was like, call and order your payoff. He was like, I've got my mortgage statement right here and it's showing what my principal balance is. Hear me. That principal balance that's on that mortgage statement is not their payoff. Okay, everybody understand that. And he was like, "But I'll take 200." I've already looked at his title. He had done a modification a year ago. I'm like, "You owe more than 200." In my head, but I was like, "Call and get your payoff." Because homeowners who have not paid in a year, 2 years, 3 years, you've got interest that has accrued that you have not paid. You got foreclosure fees. You have attorney fees. If you got a modification, they want their money back. People forget that. They want that money back. So that man, he was like, y'all, I kid you not. He said 200. He was looking at his mortgage statement. He said 200 is would clear it for me. I said, order your payoff. He ordered his payoff. Don't y'all know his payoff came back at $375,000 because he had a modification that he forgot he did, foreclosure fees, taxes he hadn't paid, all that. I was like, oh no, this deal don't even work for me. I said, he had to short sale because he was upside down for what his house was worth and what his payoff was. So they've got to order their payoff. Now, my point of saying this was if the homeowner sells it themselves, they have to clear that title themselves. They have to, if they have taxes that's coming out of their money, if there's judgments that's coming out of their money, okay? So when they sell their house, their payoff might be 350 with everything interest, foreclosure fees. When it goes up for auction, that opening bid, so like I said, the man, his payoff was like 375. Don't y'all know they auctioned that man house off for 247? 247 because they didn't count all that other stuff, right? They didn't count the liens and all that other stuff. I was like, dang, if they would have let you sell it for 247, we would have been good. So when the homeowner sells it, they got to clear all their stuff, right? Taxes, liens, modifications. When it goes up for auction, it might come, that opening bid might be lower. The bank might sell it. It might sell at auction. Talk to me, Cameron.
Does the foreclosure, does that wipe out all the other debt since I guess the loan that was in the first position, the first mortgage, they auctioned all the remaining debt because he might have had like 2-3 different a second or a third with another institution. How would you know?
So at the auction, when they auction off their primary mortgage, when I say going once, going twice, sold, that clears the title. If you in second and third position, you just not getting paid.
And they can't go after the house anymore as
No,
collateral or anything. That's all wiped out.
that's after I say going.
Yeah, after.
Yeah, but I'm saying that for everybody too. After that clears the title, but it's got to go to auction to clear it. But yes, that'll clear that second and third, right? That's why you always, when you go to auction, and we'll talk about this, you always buy liens in first position. You buy first position, it will clear everything else. Second, third, judgments, 9 times out of 10, it's going to clear all that after it goes to auction. If you buy it before auction from the homeowner, they got to clear all that.
They can come back after you, right? If I bought it from, or if someone bought it from the person and did not go completely to auction, the remaining debt is still attached to the property, though, right?
Your title not going to be clear. How they going to sell it to you if your title not? You still got a second lien. They got liens sitting out there. The homeowner's going to have to clear that title to sell it to you.
Well, but they ain't always honest.
Right, but that's why you get a title search. You know what I mean? That's when you buy it from the homeowner, you get a title search, and you got to check the title
do your homework.
All that. Do your homework. Yeah, you just not gonna buy it. You got to do a title search to make sure you're getting a clean and equitable title before you.
And the auction house won't do a preliminary title search just to say if this is the first, second, or third position.
You got to do your due diligence.
Okay.
Before you come see me, you better run a title search on that lien. Because all I do is auction. I don't ever get up there and say, hey, y'all, I'm auctioning off the second lien. Don't buy this. I just say the opening bid is this. And you better have done your due diligence before you start paying. Yes. So, y'all, it's 7:53. Okay, keep going. Steve has 30 days to pay his past due amount, right? Or his home will go up for auction. That is that certified notice that he got. Steve tried to pay, but was unable to pay his mortgage, and his home went up for auction, right? That notice of default says you paid $25,000 or whatever your past due balance is, or your house is going up for auction. Boom. That's what the letters that people are getting. Now, what is the auction, you guys? Y'all know what it is. Auctions are public events announced through legal notices, often conducted at the courthouse or online platforms. I am at the courthouse. So Who owns the house at this point? It's kind of a tricky question. Who owned the house?
The bank
When?
or
At
the
what point?
when you start the auction, it no longer belongs to the owner
Right.
because the auction is in motion.
So once I do start the auction, usually that they can no longer come back. They can't stop it. Now, it depends on where you live. If you live in a state that has right of redemption, you can come back and clear it. I have auctioned off the same house 3 times. I auctioned it off. A man bought it. That homeowner went and filed bankruptcy. They sent that man his money back. Then the homeowner went back into foreclosure again. He was like, it's me again. Bought it again. They filed bankrupt. The homeowners filed bankruptcy again. They sent that bidder his money back. So I sometimes I get a little confused on that. On I guess they don't have to file. I don't know if they filed that day. I don't know. But the homeowners filed bankruptcy after I auctioned it off. They must have filed within a couple of hours. And then they refunded that man his money. But at least you know you get the money refunded. But after I say going once, going twice, sold, you guys, boom. It either goes to the highest bidder or it reverts back to the bank and becomes a what, you guys? Somebody say it.
REO.
Thank you. Thank you, you guys. And it becomes an REO. So it either goes to the highest bidder, an investor. If it doesn't sell, houses that do not sell at auction revert back to the bank and become REO properties. Properties owned by the bank, real estate owned. Here's a property I always try to share with y'all, like auction properties. Opening bid was 182. It sold for 266 at the auction. It looks like it's worth 458. Is that a good deal? Deal or no deal? What do y'all say? Y'all can put it in the chat.
Deal.
Deal? You're saying deal? What everybody else saying? I'm looking at the chat since y'all don't want to talk to me. Deal. Sharon said deal. Y'all think they got it for 266 and it's worth 458. Opening bid was 182. Somebody should have called them and made them a deal. One of y'all should have reached out. Carla on the beach. You should have reached out. They only owed 182 on the house. Okay, so here's another one that sold. Opening bid was, my face is in the screen. Opening bid was 227. It got bid up to 496, and the investor turned around and sold it for 642,000. Deal or no deal? They got it for 496 at the auction, and then was
Good deal.
Good deal? Okay, yeah. Got it for 496 and sold it for 642. Deal or no deal? Y'all should have called them all. They only owe 227. Should have called them. So foreclosure auctions offer investors the chance to acquire properties at potentially discounted prices, right? But you have to do your due diligence before you come see me. Now, a lot of agents ask me, can I get paid at the auction? Ashley, do you offer commission? At the courthouse, trustee sales, I do not pay a commission, right? But a lot of these online platforms like auction.com, things like that, they do offer like a buyer's agent. You just register and they'll give you a commission on it, but you got to register on behalf of your buyer. So you can get some kind of commission. And I guess some realtors, maybe they'll go and bid on behalf of their client and maybe the client will give them a fee or something. I don't know. All I'm saying is me at the trustee at the courthouse, I'm not paying y'all commission is all I'm saying. So, that's all I'm saying. So here, this is auction.com. See broker co-op available. So if you got a client who wants to bid on a property online, you can get commission. You just got to register for it. And you might get 1.5% or $1,500. Something's better than nothing. On that residential side, y'all over there arguing about commissions right now since they changed the rules, but I digress and I'll keep going. So, can I use a real estate agent and how does it work? So, like I said, you just register online, have your agent or broker register for the property, and then if you win the bid, then your agent or broker gets paid. So, boom. If agents that didn't know that, you know what I mean? Here's another one. Look at that one. 492 open a bid. This one was on a lake. Because a lot of times people are always like, Ashley, at the auction, it's always the hood properties. Yeah, it's nice properties going up for auction. People buy their like second and third vacation houses at the auction. And I think in the next coming years, you're going to see a lot of houses that you weren't expecting to see go up for sale at the auction, is what I'm trying to say. There's another one. Opening bid was 1.1. Looks like it's worth 1.3. Do you see that it's on the market? They are trying to sell their property and it's in foreclosure. I hope that that agent knows that their property is in foreclosure and they've talked to the lender while they're out there trying to sell it. They did a price cut of 90. It's so funny when I see the opening bid is 1.1. I'd be like, y'all better lower that price and take what you can get. Oatmeal is better than no meal. You know what I mean? You better, they be trying to make a profit before the auction. There's one opening bid 4.3. That's why I always post these so y'all can see that it's not little bitty houses. You know, it's the monsters that on them up for auction. Because baby, get behind on a $20,000 mortgage and see what happened. See how get behind 1 month on a $20,000 mortgage. You just might as well just go and move your stuff out. Just call the movers and go and move out. And then here's one, and then we'll jump into the third and final phase of foreclosure. This one was such a good one. Such a good one. Carla, why you didn't call them? I blame you, Carla. San Francisco, you guys, look at this. Opening bid was $214,000. Sold for because it's San Francisco. Sold for 1.2 million at the auction. Imagine if y'all would have called them. They bought it back in 2000 for 850. So that's right. The opening bid should have been right about there. They've owned it for what, 26 years at this point. It should be less than that. So it got bid up to 1.2 million at the auction. Hopefully they wouldn't got their excess funds, because they would have had a nice check waiting on them if they wouldn't knew to go get it.
I was going to ask you about the excess funds. I mean, is that a thing something that I can help somebody get?
People do. I don't know if anybody on here does. I know there's people who have a business helping homeowners get their overages, surplus funds, excess funds, and they help them let them know they can reach out and then charge them a fee to help them get their money. I hope they went and got their money. Man, I know the lender was not calling them. Everybody got a bonus off that house at the attorney's office. They was eating steak for Christmas. But
that's only if the property sells more than the asking price. The overage is supposed to go back to the homeowner, correct?
Yeah. If y'all don't know, and I'm sorry, everybody, I didn't explain what excess funds are. So opening bid is 215. The bank only wants to clear what you owe them, right? Opening bid is the loan balance. Their loan balance was $215,000. Anything over this, that seller is entitled to it. Now, they're going to clear them liens. If there's some liens sitting out there, they're going to take it out of their overages. They will. But anything over the 214, that homeowner could call and get a check for that. I had a homeowner call me and she was like, I watched your video. And she said, don't you know I had a $60,000 check waiting on me? I was like, thank you, God, that you watched my video. She's like, because I did not know I could go get that check. So if you work with homeowners in foreclosure, remind them to go get their money if their house goes up for auction. You know what I mean? Y'all remind them of those things. Kia, what you doing over there? And Debbie.
Paying attention.
Amen. Amen. We're gonna wrap it up here. Okay. So here are some auction websites, you guys. Auction.com, Realty Track, Bid for Assets, Williams Auction. Read all the terms and conditions, because a lot of these people charge buyer premiums. They charge y'all some buyer premiums. I don't at the courthouse, but I don't know if auction.com does a lot of, they charge like 5%. And if it's yeah, I've seen buyer premiums be like 100,000. You got to pay $100,000 on top of what you win the house for, depending on how much it is. So just make sure you read all terms and conditions before you start bidding. Okay. Just do your due diligence. Okay. Commercial. Here's some commercial realty bid. LoopNet, CREXI. I think LoopNet has just officially bonded with CREXI at this point. But if you're looking for commercial properties, these are also some really good sites to check out as well. Boom. Ask me any questions because right now I'm just showing websites if you got questions. If you're
Okay, so go back to the previous one. Have you ever known anybody to get anything on number 5 auction house? But is that in the UK?
that's in the UK because I was trying to be diverse. I don't know anybody who got anything though, but I found them. And so they're in the UK. So yeah, I don't know anybody personally though.
Oh.
Yeah. Agriculture land. So if y'all trying to go off the grid and move and get away from ChatGPT and AI, and you just want to start your own farm, let me know because I'll buy some eggs. So landwatch.com, Land and Farm, Farmers National. Y'all can buy acreages of land. Just go buy your own little estate and grow you some salmon and baked potatoes. You know what I mean? And have your own little farm. You know what I mean? Call me. I'll buy some eggs every month. So when it comes to auctions, you guys, you got to do your due diligence first of all. I couldn't go all the way in depth into auctions or we're going to be here all night. But deeds and refunds come in the mail when you go to the auction. I do not have a deed. I do not have a refund when you go to the auction. When you go to the auction, make your cashier's checks payable to yourself. Make them payable to yourself. Why? Because if you win the property, all you got to do is turn it over, sign the back, give it to me, give it to your auctioneer. If you don't win the property, you can deposit it right back into your bank account without a problem. When you go to the auction, you have to have all of your money there. That is something that y'all struggle with so hard. And I'm not sure how to say it any clearer than that. You got to have all your money right there. And y'all like, but Ashley, how am I supposed to know how much money to bring? You bring as much as you are willing to pay for that house, right? You don't get to say, Ashley, I'm gonna go to the bank. Ashley, I'll be right back. Let me put it down to deposit. I got proof of funds. Will you take some earnest money? No. I want the complete amount of money at the auction. When I say going once, going twice, sold, if the winning bid is $50,000, $500,000, $5 million, I need it in the full amount at the auction. Talk to me, Cameron.
Do you know of, just like you had websites for getting whatever? Do you have websites or recommendations for financiers that particularly finance for auctions? Because a lot of hard money lenders, they don't do that as
Yeah,
well
they have no
as
finance for money.
banks. Because there's currently I won't have any realty to secure the loan.
Yep. So I don't know.
So
I heard like I don't know if Kiavi does it. I don't know. Y'all know any Kiavi? I see Kia her hand. Where Ray at? Ray probably went to sleep. Do y'all know of any people who will give money for auctions? Because you got to have the money up front. So you need somebody who's
yes,
willing. Huh?
yes.
Oh yes. Look, Cameron's like, yeah, Cameron, I'm asking for you.
Oh, I got excited. Sorry.
I heard Kiavi or because I know a lot of people might do like a home equity line of credit, get a line of credit to come, or I don't know, I have to look around and see, but that's who I've heard of. And if anybody, y'all can drop it in the chat since don't nobody want to come off mic but Cameron and Carla today. The C's and Joe.
Well, that's crucial because I mean, if you got to have it up front, and like if the terms could be, hey, yeah, we'll give you a loan to do an auction, but it's only good for like 10 days until you extend it to a full loan,
Yeah,
or it's only a hard money loan until you secure real finances for in 6 months. Usually a hard money loan goes for 6 months as it is.
right, right. So you'd
And
have
you
to.
got to have a specific price.
So I'll have to look and see. But I heard of Kiavi. I know a lot of people use Kiavi, but I'm not sure if they give up front or if they just give like loans to fix and flip and stuff like that.
How do you spell Kiabi? Is it
Thank you.
Kiavi, K as in kite, IA as in Ashley, duh. VI, V is in Victor, I is in what's something that start with I? Igloo,
India?
India, igloo. Okay,
Is that a .com or what?
Cameron. Oh.
Ma'am, I'm trying to work here.
Put it in the Google.
I got you. I'm putting it in the chat now.
There it is. Thank you, Kia. Okay. Cameron. We're like, who the contact person? What's the
You're
phone
playing.
number?
You're playing around.
That's right, Kim. We 2026, we leaving here with something. So Steve has, yes, Bill.
Hey, I got a quick question. Can a second position file a foreclosure, or it has to be a first position?
Yeah, second position file foreclosure all the time. And that'll go up for auction and you don't buy that. Do
Okay, because
not,
that won't wipe out the first
it
position.
sure will not. You just go, your
Okay.
feelings gonna be hurt all year if you have a
Ah,
second loan.
and you got to do your due diligence to know that, because if you go there, you all are not going to say that like this is second position. Okay.
And your feelings will be hurt for the rest of the year if you buy a second position loan. So yes, do your due diligence. So Steve has 30 days to pay the past due amount or his home will go up for auction. Steve tried. You see, he looking depressed and sad and his blood pressure is sky high. Steve tried but was unable to pay his mortgage and his home went up for auction. Going once, going twice, sold. But what happened, ladies and gentlemen? It did not sell at the auction because his opening bid was too high because Steve just bought his house last year and he overpaid for it. So Steve's home reverted back to the bank and became a what, you guys?
Real estate owned, bank owned property.
REO.
REO. Thank you, Kia. Thank you. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, everybody. Steve's home is now owned by the bank. The bank owns Steve's properties. REO properties are those that have completed the foreclosure process. That is the third and final phase of foreclosure. We have been through all of them: pre-foreclosure, auction, and REO. Those three phases. Cameron, your hand up for real, or you just ain't never take it down? You just ain't never take it down. Okay. So the lender becomes the owner of the property, having acquired it through foreclosure. And I always say this, I'm trying to make it short because I can just talk so much. Everybody's like, Ashley, I want to come see you at the auction. I'm coming to the auction to see you, Ashley. I want a foreclosure. In all reality, y'all do not want to come see me at the auction, to be completely honest with you. I would love to see all of you there, but the auction is not for everybody. Cameron's already said, you got to have money up front to come see me, right? You got to have it all in full to come see me. Bill already said, what if it's a second lien? You got to do your due diligence before you come see me. Auction. Steve, remember Steve and his two kids and his wife? They're still in that house when I sell it to you at the auction. So now you got to put out Steve, his two kids, and his wife. You got to go to court. You got to have them evicted. Also, if we forgot to tell you, you don't get to go look inside of that house before you buy it. Steve is not going to open his door and say, come on in here, Carla and Cameron and Bill. I know my house is going up for auction. You want to come in and see what you're going to buy? No, you are buying blind at the auction. You are paying cash. You are buying blind. You might buy a bad title and you have to pay cash. And Ashley does not give refunds. Sorry. So it is a whole lot of risk going into buying at the auction. So when people are like, I want to come see you at the auction, I want a foreclosure. What you really want is an REO. That is what you really want. You want a home that's owned by the bank that you can walk through. You can get an inspection. You can use financing. You can back out of that deal. The title is clear. What you want is an REO property for most of you, to be completely honest, right? So the auction, homes sold through public auction, REO, properties that have failed to sell at auction and are now owned by the bank. So instead of dealing with Steve on the front end, trying to buy it from him, now the seller is the bank. But it's basically the same process, right? However, what you see is what you get when you deal with the bank. But the bank is the seller now, okay? But you can go in that property. You can walk around. You can bring your contractor. You can estimate repairs. You can use financing, conventional, 203K, hard money, soft money, private money, public money, whatever you under the mattress money, whatever you want to use, you can use it when you buy an REO property. Financing, you put down earnest money. After you get your inspection, you like, no, thank you. You can back out of that deal, right? That's what you can do with REO properties. Go ahead, Carla.
Okay, so how would I find those REO properties? Do I have to go to a realtor?
So, Carla, you're not gonna let me go to the next slide.
I'm gonna go right ahead.
Look at Carla, eager. Now, after I said REO properties is what you want, she was like, where do I find them? I got you, Carla. I got you. You know I got you. You know I do, friend. I got you, Carla, on the beach. Carla ready to buy on the beach. So here's another opening bid. So a lot of times what we're seeing, Kia can attest to it, everybody who works on the REO side, a lot of homeowners, again, at the auction, the opening bid is the loan balance. Does everybody comprehend that? The opening bid is the loan balance. If you just bought your house post COVID in the last 5 years, 4 years, if you've ever owned a home, you know how long it takes to put a dent in your mortgage, right? What we are seeing now at the auction and foreclosures, people are losing their house that just bought in 2023, 24. I had a house go up for auction that was just bought last year. They owe that whole mortgage. So that opening bid is too high. You come to the auction and get a discount. You're not coming to the auction to pay full price for a property. Opening bid is the loan balance they just bought last year. A lot of people, a lot of these opening bids are actually higher than what the property is even worth anymore because the market's cooled off, prices have gone down. A lot of people are upside down. So, my point is, we're seeing a lot of properties going back to the bank because they are not selling at auction. The opening bid too high. These people just bought the properties. So that's why, you guys, that's why I added an REO, BPO part to the mentorship because REOs are starting to increase with what's going on in the market. And this is an example. Opening bid 2.4. Let's see. I didn't know if this one, it says it's worth 3.4, but anyway, no deal. We ain't paying that. Now, remember, Steve can file bankruptcy and cancel that auction. This is Steve's home until I say sold. So if you're looking at the auction, remember, they can file bankruptcy and your feelings just going to be hurt. Don't put all your eggs in one basket when you go into the auction because they get canceled and postponed all day, every day. All day, every day. Now, REOs, you negotiate with the bank. You can negotiate with the bank. Auctions, you can't negotiate with me. I'm going to say the opening bid is this. You can bid $1 over, but you can't bid under with me at the auction. REOs, you can negotiate with the bank, right? Auctions, depending on where you live, they can be a little competitive. But also the good thing is you can hear everybody else bidding, right? Somebody next to you say 35,500. You can say plus $1, $35,501. You can hear what's going on around you. Unlike when you're bidding with the bank, you know, it's your typical, you don't know what everybody else is offering if you're in a multiple offer situation. You know, you can negotiate with the bank. You cannot negotiate with your auction mama. Okay. Auctions, you cannot get in on the inside of them. Steve and his 2 kids have run amok in that house, amok in that house, and you just gonna have to buy it and pray that they don't burn it down after you buy it. REOs, you can go, you can get an inspection, you can bring a contractor, you can back out of that deal. You know what's going on before you buy that property. Okay. Auctions, I want certified funds in the complete amount. REOs, conventional, FHA, FHA 203K, VA, private, public, hard, soft. All the financing is usually allowed depending on that property and how much repairs it needs. Home buyers, you might find a great property that's up for, that's an REO property. And investors, this is also an avenue that you can, utilize when looking for properties. Realtors, some realtors specialize in REO properties, like our friend Kia right there. I am not going to put the pen or the spotlight on you because you know I will do that, but I will not do that tonight to you. Hey, Jamie. Hey, Shayna. Look at everybody in here. Cameron, talk to me, Cameron.
I'm sorry, but I don't like REO realtors because they always try to sell it to your full market value, even though they know the house may be a dump after you don't went in it and went down the list of repairs, and they head nod right along with you.
But the realtor does not set the price.
That's what I'm about to say.
Like they do.
That's the asset company. We don't have a control over it, and you don't understand how angry. I had one where they priced it 150 over.
Yeah, and it's like
And
ridiculous.
I
It's like,
and it doesn't it is no when you say you don't like us, it's our name and it's
they
us
make
out
it
there as
hard.
well.
Yeah.
So we don't have it's no different than having a seller in the
Yeah.
traditional market who says that they feel their house is worth X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. The
A
banks.
lot of times people don't understand is either I bypass putting it on the market altogether, and then hopefully the seller becomes educated of what I told them from day one. So it's never really I can't say never really. It's never the realtor. We're the communicator in that deal. We're
Yeah.
doing what we're supposed to do and what they tell us to do. It's not the realtor. Like a lot of times we're like, we know and we want to
Yeah.
get the deal done just as much as you do. But
Yeah.
the bank is the bank and they hold the cards, and banks are not emotional. So
Yeah.
when you're dealing with the traditional side, I can kind of talk to somebody that knows they need to sell this and move on. But when you're dealing with a bank that has a portfolio of 150 properties, they don't give a damn.
Yeah.
They said this is what I want to do, and that's where it kind of
They trying to make money. They trying to recoup their losses. Think about it. They got a homeowner who ain't paid in 10 years, and now I'm gonna try to put on the market and try to make some money back. You know what I mean, Cameron? Don't worry.
Well,
You'll see when you get in on this side that is.
well, the frustration was this. I went out, reviewed the property, and me and the realtor went and said, like, look, the bank is crazy. It ain't even worth half that much. Maybe in a utopian society in Wakanda where they rehab the house, but this needs a lot of work. And basically, the owner passed, and it was almost a probate, but it was still left on the books, and they were trying to move it. And they said, well, depend on when it was, if it was full market value, it would be worth hypothetically 300,000. So we'll take 275. That house weren't even worth 125, and it needed at least like 70 grand worth of repairs, and it was in a state of disarray. But the
Yeah.
bank is just focused on how much the property would be full market value and not what it's worth at the moment.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to wait them out and hope that they lower the price and all that. But it's really, honestly, it's not on the agent. They kind of they do what they want to do. And yeah, let me keep going, y'all, because it's 8:30. I know y'all came for a good time and not a long time. So, real quick, if you're an agent and you're interested in working with asset managers and banks, here are a couple of sites that you can reach out to or sign up for and become REO agents or BPO agents. Y'all know I just got certified as a BPO agent. I'm not going to talk about it. We're not going down that road, but I'm on the road. That's all I can say. I'm on the road, going slow, but I'm on the road. That's okay. We got Kia in here. No, Kia, like, don't call me. Kia does like 150 of them a week in Virginia. She's our BPO queen. So I try to learn from her. Kia, touch the screen with your finger so you can touch and so you'll give me some good BPO energy. But here's a couple of sites if you're an agent interested in working with the banks or asset managers. Sign up on these sites. There's a bunch of certifications that you can get that qualifies you to work with banks. I always say there's more than one way to skin a cat. And I've literally never said that in my life. I don't ever say there's more than one way to skin a cat. But my point is, there's more than one way to do things when the foreclosure market. So I try to share with y'all, of course, you want to be an REO agent, you want to be an investor, but there are other jobs that come about during foreclosures, like trash outs, property preservations, cleaning companies, things like that. You can be a vendor for these asset managers and banks. So I try to share this site, Procure One. Fannie Mae, you can sign up as a vendor on there. They got property preservation, landscaping, trash outs, cleaning companies. They need all kinds of contractors to do work on property. So sometimes even if you're not an agent or licensed or investor, there's other ways that you can, you know what I mean? Get your coins during, a downturn in the market or when foreclosures are prevalent. You just figure it out. You know what I mean? Here's another property, you guys. Opening bid was 269. They just bought, I always circle when they just bought it. They bought it in 2021. That's what we're seeing. People who just bought in the last 3, 4 years in foreclosure. See, look at this one. Opening bid is 2.4, but it's only worth 2.2. That's not going to sell at auction. That's going to revert back to the bank and become an REO property. That's how that works. Now, Carla was saying, here's some sites right here. HUD Home Store, Home Steps, Home Path, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Truist. They all have their own REO sites that you can look on. Don't worry, Carla, I'm going to send this to you in a replay. So if you don't write it down, all good. I'll send this to everybody. Don't worry. But here are some sites. You go on there, look. They usually do have a listing agent in front of it. You can use your own agent if you want to, or you can call them. Remember that they work for the banks, but you can get inside, look at the properties, do your inspection, bring your contractors, and you can negotiate when it comes to REO properties. Even on auction.com, if you filter it by foreclosure sales and bank-owned sales, they're both on auction.com as well. Realty Track, Hubzoo, Zone. Terms and conditions, people. T&C. T&C. Terms and conditions. Because, baby, y'all going to be paying $10,000 in a buyer premium. So just make sure you read all terms and conditions when it comes to bidding on a property online. So like I said, like on auction.com, there's bank owned. You can filter it by bank owned. You can filter it by foreclosure. You know what I mean? Things to remember. Stay in your budget. Stay in your budget. When you go to the auction, if you're buying an REO, in life, when you go into the grocery store, stay in your budget. That's what you have to do at all times, right? So I always like to add this at the end. Just some things that you can do now that are absolutely free. Go to the auction, you guys. If you want to, if you're a wholesaler and you need some buyers on the back end, go to the auction. It's a whole bunch of buyers who are looking for properties, right? And who would much rather buy it from you than be bidding against other people. So go to an auction, right? Start running numbers. Drive around, look at properties, that kind of stuff. Run your numbers. Start learning now. Figure out where buyers are buying, or figure out what area you're buying in, right? What's the long game? What's the end game? You gonna buy and flip? You gonna buy and hold? Cash flow? Figure out what your long game plan is. And 2026 is coming, so y'all gotta figure it out. You know what I mean? Also, you guys, another free thing that I have, like this class that I just hosted. I need to change this, you guys. I have over 600 videos. They just sent me an alert. I have over 600 videos on YouTube about auctions, foreclosures, the latest distressed market. I'm really going to try really hard to do more videos in 2026. But go watch that. Join an REO group, an REI group, wherever you live. Go to a real estate meetup. They're free. Sometimes when you get in the environment of being with other investors and, people who are doing what you want to do, you can learn, find out who your title company is, find you some buyers. You know what I mean? Just go. Just go. And then what's coming? Because you asked me as soon as I got on here, the mentorship, you guys, and then we're going to wrap it up. So 2026, we're doing 4 mentorships, one every quarter, one every 6 weeks. They're all 6 weeks. Once you are in, you are in. So the people who will get the most for their money are the people who join now and in January. Because if you come in January, then you get to go to all 4 mentorships, right? So there's 6 weeks. I teach you, I've added a session since we're all doing BPOs. And when I say all, that means me. BPOs and REOs, right? Broker price opinion, and REOs working with banks and asset managers. So we're going to have a session from 7 to 7:30. If you are interested in that, you come to that. And then 7:30 and beyond, it's the pre-foreclosure mentorship, right? So I teach you how to find homeowners wherever you live. We have people from all across the country. Market to them, reach out to them, all my marketing methods, all the letters, how to talk to homeowners, how to talk to the banks, how to make your offers, how to do your due diligence, and everything in between. Our community is amazing. I love everybody in it. Look, Kia been with me for a long time. She just won't leave me because she loves me, I guess, I assume. Kia, Carla's in there, Gail's in there, Tawanda's in there. Trying to look through here and see who's all in here. Shayna, Jamie, I'm looking through to see who's in here. But yeah, so we'll go 4 weeks because I'm trying to focus, y'all, I'm trying to run it up too in 2026. So we meet on Wednesdays, 7:30. Cameron's in there. Let me not forget Cameron. Carla's in there. Let me not forget Carla. But that is what it is. I give you all my letters. I teach you everything that I do. Kia, I think, can attest. I don't know if Ray's still in here. I'm very transparent. If I'm nothing else, I tell you everything that I do. I know I tell probably more than what most people tell, but I tell everything that I do. I teach you. I see you every Wednesday, and we learn and we grow. And Kia is our BPO queen. She does 2,300 BPOs a year for the banks, right? So she's our little queen. We have people in there who do REOs for the bank, right? So wholesalers, licensed agents, unlicensed investors, they're all in there. So I will drop the link in the chat. The price increases on Sunday at midnight. Okay. The price increases at Sunday at midnight. So it is still a discounted price right now. So I encourage you all, if you are thinking about it, and once you are in, you're in. Somebody emailed me and said, what if I can't make it to class? You get all the replays, you get all the resources, you can go watch me talk as many times as you want to, and then you are in for the rest of your life. Okay. So, whew, okay. I think, hold on, is that the last slide? Yep. Where can you find me? I am on Instagram, Your Agent Ashley. I'm on YouTube, Your Agent Ashley. And I have an email, and you can guess what the name is on the email. youragentashley@gmail.com. And guess what, you guys? I'm done. I'm absolutely done. I don't have anything else to talk about. Are there any questions before we all go to bed? Any questions?
I have a quick one. It hasn't in anything. It was I talked to Michelle
Yeah,
after the call last night, and
yeah,
she talked about Shango. She said she does Subtune. How
yeah.
could I get a hold of her? Is there a group or
I'll connect you with Shango. I'll give you her email. Just
okay,
shoot me an email and then I'll connect y'all so y'all can talk.
okay.
She's really
Can you
helpful with
connect me
that.
with Shango as well?
Say, what'd you say, Jamie?
Can you connect me with
Yeah,
Shango as well?
absolutely. Y'all email me and I'll just pass. She's really good about sharing all her stuff. Um, I hope y'all learned something tonight. Did y'all learn something about pre-foreclosures? Y'all 2026, all I can say is get in position. That's all I can say. If I were to tell you that the foreclosures were coming next year, without a doubt in my mind, what would you do to prepare? And that's what I want y'all to think about. Would you up your mailing? Would you really start calling? Would you really start, you know what I mean, door hangers? What would you do if you knew for a fact that they were coming and they was coming strong? You know what I mean? So, hypothetically speaking, if they was coming, all I would say is whatever you would do, I would say do it.
I'll
Jamal.
say it for you. Ain't no I'll say it for you because you can't say it. Yeah, they're coming. They're coming. Don't listen to these nut jobs in the media. Telling y'all everything is peaches and rainbows and sunshines. It ain't because I don't know who's on this call from Atlanta, from the Atlanta metro area.
Yeah.
I'm west of Atlanta. I can tell you right now, if you ever been to Atlanta, if you're familiar with an area called Atlantic Station, I'm trying to keep the language
Yeah.
to a minimum, but they're catching all kind of hell right now. That whole place is about to shut down in a minute.
Yeah.
A lot of stores is leaving. So yeah, and I was telling folks back in 2023, the Atlanta market was going to have issues. I study micro maps, and people
Yeah.
call me like they're talking about, oh, you let's talk about you crazy. Fast forward today, them same real estate folks call me now. Hey, Jamon, what y'all tell my client? Well, the only thing I could tell your client is pack. I told you in 2023 what was coming,
I
and
was
you chose not
waiting.
to listen.
I've always
And
said I was waiting on Atlanta to hit our foreclosure list because I saw that run up that Georgia had and investors were buying like crazy. And I think in October, Atlanta finally hit like foreclosure list. I know Atlanta, y'all gonna get hit so hard down there in Georgia, Texas, Georgia, Florida. Maybe if I lived in any of those states, do you hear me? I would work foreclosures so hard. Like I would be in with banks, asset managers. I'd be talking to homeowners. I would make sure I could work that market because they gonna make a killing if y'all in position.
Las Vegas, because like you were saying
Yeah.
on one of your videos a few weeks ago, how everybody's screaming Tampa's about to be the epicenter for these foreclosures. See, my money's still in San Antonio.
Said Texas. Everybody's,
Yeah,
I know I hear some people say Florida kind of, but everybody's saying San Antonio, Texas is going to be the epicenter for foreclosure. Now, Florida always get hit with foreclosure. Like they just known to get hit because their prices and taxes and boom. But Texas, we're going to see San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, Houston. Y'all, all I'm gonna say, if I work Texas and Georgia, Florida, y'all, that is where I would be. That's where I would work.
So
Yeah.
the key question again is financing. What financier specializes in foreclosures and auctions?
So, and you don't have to go that auction route, right? Go from that homeowner route. Hit that homeowner route really hard because these homeowners, they've already done modifications. They've been through this waterfall. They filed bankruptcy too many times at this point, and the bank is just gonna say enough is enough. Either you give us our money or we sending you into foreclosure. That's a route that I would probably try to hit, and then you can stack your cash that way. Um, and then the REO side, you can hit them with for traditional financing on that REO side. I probably personally, even and I'm y'all's auction mama, I would not personally focus on auction, going buying at the auction, right? Because all these opening bids are ridiculous at the auction. Like I said, all these people are just bought 2, 3 years ago. The opening bids are too high. It's not a deal at the auction right now. Unless you really, and if it's a deal, it's gonna get bid up, it's not going to be a deal anymore. So if you can hit them before they go to auction, build you a good strong buyer list. This is what I was talking about last night in mentorship. Get you a good strong buyer list. You can go to the auction and find you some buyers, right? But if you can get the seller, that homeowners, and start flipping properties to investors with money, keep the ones you want to keep, flip the ones you don't, just start building, stacking cash that way. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just got to go back to the grassroots, you know what I mean? And just go that if you can be a headhunter for some people. All them guys at the auction, they would much rather buy from you than go to the auction and bid with everybody else with them at the auction. Hedge funds buying all day, every day. I know a lot of people hate when I say that, but I will sell to a hedge fund. Trust and believe. Now, they're not my first go-to. Like I'll sell to my investors, boom, boom, small investors. But if I can't move a property, a hedge fund will pick it up from you. But you got to build those relationships. Now is the time to build those relationships. Let people know what you're doing. I work on the distress market. I work with homeowners. Build you a buyer list. Because like Jermon said, what you don't want to happen is you get a house under contract and then you can't move it. That's what you don't want to happen. So now is the time to prepare, is what I would say. Well, everybody's hibernating. Go ahead, Jermon.
I was gonna say, and if these American buyers want to act silly and stupid, I don't have them issues. I have a couple international buyers. So when these American buyers want to act like they don't want to spend no money, okay, I'm gonna go talk to my investor buyer over there from India. I'm gonna go talk to my investor buyer over there from Cali, Colombia. I'm gonna go talk to my investor buyer from Singapore. Start getting y'all some of these international friends. Become friends with them. Learn their language figuratively.
So that's what I said. That's why it's really important. I'm gonna let y'all go to like join some of these like REI, go to these meetup groups. A lot of people you can find buyers. Go to the auction, right? Closed mouth don't get fed. Squeaky wheel gets the oil, whatever metaphor you want to use. Go and say, hey, I have properties. I work with homeowners who are in foreclosure. If I have a property, would you want it? They'll be like, yes, put me on your list, right? Go get property. There's another why I always say, like, if you get a property and you can't sell it, look in that property neighborhood. If you thank you, Kia, because I gotta go. If you find a property in a neighborhood, you don't have a buyer, look in the area and see if any investors have bought in that area, right? You know what a flip look like when you see it. It's in the pictures, new floors, paint. Reach out, maybe even reach out to that agent and say, hey, I saw your investor bought a house over here. I got another one if he's interested in it. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper and find you a buyer if you get a house. You know what I mean? But now is the time to prepare while everybody taking breaks and all that kind of stuff. Now is the time. Okay, y'all, that's all I got. Y'all got anything else y'all want to talk to me about? I hope y'all learned tonight. Hopefully y'all go and get you a little 90-day timeline, a little go, hey, Debbie, with the red hat on. With no red hat today. No.
Jermon, where'd you find your international buyers?
This ain't being recorded, is it? Because
It is. It is. Jamon,
shit.
maybe drop your
I'll
email.
put my number in chat because
Put your email in the chat. That's what I was gonna say. Put your
because you
email
got
in
a lot
the
of
chat.
bad actors out there that's making the game hard for us good investors out here. So I can't.
Yeah.
I don't want
Drop
to
it
give
in the
all.
chat, Jamon.
Yeah, I'll
And
drop it.
then
Hold on. Give me a second. I'll drop it in here.
okay. And then y'all, I'm going to the replay will be up. All the links are in, I think, are in the chat. I'll send this replay out tomorrow. If you don't get it, just reach out to me. But Jermon will drop that info in the chat for you. But you guys, it's a networking business for sure. It's a networking, do good, solid business, communicate, build your buyers list, right? Um, and just learn. This is when you start learning. Learn how to run your numbers, learn what your investors are looking for, learn what your investors' formulas are so you know what to send them and what not to send them. We'll talk about that more. But boom,
When is the mentorship classes? I mean,
January
meeting.
7th, I'm gonna send you an email, Al. You just started, Cameron. I'm gonna send out an email with everything, but it'll be January 7th is the first one. 7 to 7:30, BPO REO, 7:30 and beyond. It's all about pre-foreclosures. Once every quarter, the price goes back up on Sunday at midnight. And right now I have the 2 payment plan option, so I'm trying to help y'all get in there. So, okay, you guys. I'm hanging up the phone now. So the replay will
1,
be out.
2, 3.
Thank you, Kia. Kia be keeping me, Kia keep me together because I'll go all night long like Lionel Richie, Smokey Robinson. Y'all know what. Okay. All right. Bye, you guys. I hope y'all enjoyed this. If you have anything,
Happy
reach out to
holidays.
me. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And maybe I'll see y'all in the mentor.
Happy holidays and happy belated birthday. Or did I
Thank
miss it?
you. No, it was Tuesday. So no, you're right on time. You're
All
right.
right. Happy belated birthday then.
Bye, you guys. Have a good
Bye.
night.